You know, at the beginning of my videos when I say, and once in a while, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I like to. Well, guess what? We're going to actually do a DIY. Actually, it's going to be a 4-part series. I'm going to take you along the journey of me tiling my shower walls. Boy, is this going to be a lot of fun. So what's happened is the original shower was cracked and bad and just installed poorly by the previous owners. And so I had a plumber come help me out with the shower pan, and we ripped off some walls. And then I have the walls actually set up with the backer board, and that's where we're going to start out. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. My channel is dedicated to reviewing mostly as seen on TV items. I look at some consumer gadgets, other household items once in a while. Today, I do a little bit of a DIY just because I like to. If that interests you, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel and click the bell below so you're notified every time I release a video just like this one. Now, let's roll up our sleeves. Well, if you don't have sleeves, you can't roll them up. And let's get tiling. So here is what the shower looked like when we tore it out. And here is what it looks like when I installed the backer board. I'm prepping the backer board for a compound. I'm actually just going to be using the same mortar that I'm going to use for the tile. But first I'm sealing the seams here. And it's important to do this. Some people say not, some people say to. I like to. And I ended up using this product right here. It's for cement board. It's fiber tape. It looks just like drywall tape. And it even cuts like drywall tape, and it's sticky like drywall tape, but it's meant for underneath cement boards here. So what I'm going to do is I've just been cutting lines and then putting it in. After all this stuff is done, I'm going to put a coat of the mortar over all the spots I just taped to create a nice seal, a nice bond, because I really want to make sure this is waterproofed. I'll continue putting the tape on, and I'll show you what it looks like at the end. All right, so here are all the seam lines done. I went over it with the tape that I showed you earlier. What I'm going to do now is mix up some of the mortar and come through. I didn't show you how I made these niches, whatever you call them, but there's a big space in the wall, so I used 2x6s and just framed them in. They're about 13 inches tall. I felt it was perfect to hold shampoo bottles and such, but I'll come back to this when I'm ready to seal the wall. I'm pretty happy with how the seams turned out. There's a few raised areas, but I'm not too worried since I'm using a 1/4-inch trowel. Since that took about a day or a day and a half to dry, now I'm going to be putting on my Aqua Defense, and I just bought this at Lowe's. It's a green like paint-on substance, and what I'm going to do, let me get my roller. I'm going to just paint the walls like I would a wall, right? And so what this will do is put an extra barrier water protectant on this wall. So I'll paint it at least one time, maybe twice, but I'll show you what it looks like at the end. I just finished my second coat of putting this sealer on the wall. The lighter of the tealish, greenish, bluish colors is where it's still wet. The darker color is where it's dried. I will say, if you're going to use this product, make sure you are in a well-ventilated area because it is a tough smell. I think it's time to head to the local hardware store, mine happens to be Lowe's, and pick out some tiles so we can get tiling on this thing. All right, let's see. Which tile should we pick? I think I like this subway tile. That might look nice in my shower. Now let's look for an accent piece. All right, with all these choices, I have my white subway tile. I kind of like this right here. All right, I think this will look good together. Those stones might be hard to cut, but I think I like that. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how just to mix up a little bit of mortar. You wouldn't really do this if you're going to be tiling a lot, but I want to show you, one, how to mix the powder, the water, and the type of consistency that I like when I tile. I'm only going to be making a small batch here just to demonstrate what I do. I actually have an attachment that's like a mixer that goes onto my drill. But what you want to do, if you're just going to do a few tiles, just a little bit, I put some of the mortar mix in, a little bit of water,
and then just start mixing it until I get it to the consistency that I want. If all this gets mixed up and I don't see any more of the light gray powder, and it's still too runny, then I add some more of the mix just to get it thicker. I end up liking to be a little thicker so it sits on the wall and doesn't run down. Just remember to do that as you're mixing up your mortar. Mix it up real nice. I like it thick, but see this right here, I'm actually going to add some more, even though I'm just doing this as a demo. This is too loose for me. To make it thicker, I just sprinkle some in. You don't need a whole lot, and then you mix it up some more, just until you get that desired consistency. After mixing water and mortar, this is about the consistency I like. It's not going to fall off, but it's still enough to stick to the wall and hold the tile. This is how I cut the tile. This is a wet saw. There's an on-off button here. There's a space in here where you actually add the water and it'll come up, the blade just spins through it. So I'll just show you how I cut a piece of tile. Remember, always wear your safety glasses. Let's turn this on. Just like that, cut in half. Pretty simple.
You know what? Now that we have a little bit of mortar mixed up and a couple tiles cut, let's go throw them up on the wall.
All right, so here I'm going to show you some of what I've been doing. You can see the tile going on. Realistically, the first line is the most important. So that took me the most amount of time to do because I wanted to make sure that was completely level. From there, I level every set of tiles. And what I do here is I've already got the trowel marked on the wall there. So now I'm just going to what they call back butter this tile, which is really just covering the entire tile with the mortar. And you want to take your time doing this, not to leave any out. And make sure the whole thing is covered. All right, almost there. All right, see how that whole back is covered? Now I'm ready to actually slap this into place. And I already have this pre-measured. So what I do is I take it and I push it in real tight to get a bond. And then I take these little spacers and I start a spacing, making sure we're on the right level, making sure we're on the right distance between each piece. Once I do that, then I start pushing in, make sure it's flush from tile to tile. And I also, once I get all this done, I try to clean up as much of this as I can. Even though I can come do it later, it gets harder. And so it's more difficult to get when it hardens.
Here is what it looks like at the end of part 1. So, in part 1, we took you from our bare backerboard walls, we taped it, we put the mortar on it, we painted it with a sealer, and we even started tiling up a few tiles. Please come on back for part 2 so you can see what happens next. This is Jeff with Jeff Reviews for You. As always, thanks for stopping by, and I hope you have a great day. I really do appreciate you staying around for part 1 when I try to rebuild my shower wall. Hopefully part 2 we get a lot more completed, but we will see. Just for fun, I'm going to link a video as a DIY video I did where I patched a big giant hole in the asphalt on my driveway, and I'm going to link it right here, and I would love it if you would click on this link. And by the magic of the internet, I'm going to join you at this video. See you there. Go ahead, click it. It's safe. I promise.